Welcome and Merry Christmas from the Screen Rock Podcast, the podcast where we discuss the weirdest and worst content that's been right on our screens and indeed our minds. I'm here with Jake Farrell.
Christmas special, baby.
Christmas special!
I can't believe it. 15 episodes. 15 possible death threats from the YouTube creators we've been analysing and ripping to pieces. Only so far one angry customer. But today, someone we love.
Today's someone we love, man. Yeah, I mean, we sort of agonised over this a little bit, didn't we? Who to do for the Christmas special. Yes. It has to be someone special. Like, it has to be someone big.
Yeah, exactly.
And it also has to be someone who I think embodies what's important at Christmas. Family.
100%.
And alcoholism.
Well, that was going to be my kind of get on this, and we'll not to spoil it too much, but this person is like not only an incredible creator who we love very dearly, but it's like Christmas is his time.
Yeah. Well, I think Christmas should be everyone's time. Do you know what I mean? But there are certain people who I think go for it.
Really get into their own, yeah.
And we talk about the kind of ITV2 new build people.
Yeah.
Now, this guy isn't that.
No.
Those people love Christmas because they love spending money on tat.
They love getting down Dunelm Mill and getting some Christmas jammies, matching Christmas jammies for the dog as well, if they can get them.
Yeah, jammies for the dog. And do you know the thing with those guys, and this is in my mind when I think about the difference between those guys and the difference between this guy, and this guy really reminds me of my mates from home.
Yeah,
they love this guy, but they're very similar to him. They do similar jobs to him, my mates from home and stuff like that. But the difference for me, the key difference, and the thing that tells you that this guy is coming from a warmer place than the ITV2 new build people, the colour palette.
Yeah.
ITV2 new build Christmas, tell me the one colour that springs to mind.
Steel grey.
Yes, absolutely. Steel, shiny, but grey. This guy, I think warm golds, warm reds, warm greens.
Yeah,
you
man.
know, that's the thing. There's nothing monochrome.
Motherfucker's the good King Wenceslas of we love him.
Talk to me about your Christmas day. What's your run? Like, have you planned this year? Who are you doing this year with? Who are you with this year?
We're around my mum and dad's this year.
Oh, do you do a take it in turns thing?
We've started doing that recently. We actually did many years where we'd spent Christmas apart because we didn't see our parents as much as we would liked anyway, so it felt mad not to do Christmas with our parents.
Yeah.
But yeah, with my mum and dad this year. So my little nephew, he'll be like 2 and a bit at Christmas. So he's
great age.
Yeah, he's into it. He calls presents surprises. He loves surprises. And I'll just be buying him loads of stuff. And I'm getting to be like the mad uncle because my sister's like, yeah, the house is a bit full. He's got more toys than he could ever play with. And I'm like, don't worry about that, love. Here's another dinosaur.
It's so good, man. So you're doing Christmas at mum and dad's house. Are you cooking? Are you involved in the cooking?
I will be involved in the cooking at some point. I'll be pretending that I don't care about the cooking that much, but I will be looking over everyone's shoulders going, fluff those roasties off a bit.
That's again, we've slagged off Jamie Oliver, but I think that's a Jamie Oliver thing of being like, break them up a bit, get the fat on, roast them to bits. Yeah.
Where are you?
So we're here.
Nice.
We're at home. So I think this is a kind of couple that. This is an issue that couples our age kind of have. Is like, what do you do at Christmas?
Yeah,
who do you spend it with? So the first one, me and my missus got together in the summer of 2018. So Christmas 2018, we spent apart. She before we'd got together, she had a holiday to Jamaica, booked with friends for Christmas.
Wow.
So she went away. I stayed with my mate Matt, my mate Kane, my mate Luke, and at the time I thought it was the worst Christmas of my life. Because we got really, really on it.
Right.
Like, really on it.
Day off.
I think... so Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, okay.
I think I've shown you the video where my mate Luke is butt naked, humping our feet.
Not great, yeah.
My mate Matt was so...
Doesn't scream Christmas spirit, that one.
Yeah, my mate Matt was so geared up at 4 a.m. He had to go for a jog around the block to burn some of it off. I actually should say, my mate Kane was going to spend Christmas Day with us, but at 9 o'clock Christmas morning, without any sleep, he decided he had to go home, and he made his mum drive from Stevenage to London to come and get him on Christmas morning.
Oh!
After that, we had a pretty nice time, but I was like, that could be the worst one of my life. After that, so Christmas 2019, me and the missus have been together a year or so. That's when we were like, let's start doing the take it in turnsy thing.
Nice.
She came back to my house on Christmas Eve. She was pregnant at the time.
Right.
Which makes her very sensitive to smell.
Mm-hmm.
My partner's sort of vegan, vegetarian. Not only was there the smell of meat being cooked in the house, my parents had 2 dogs at the time. One of them was incontinent and couldn't stop shitting everywhere. And my girlfriend, sort of heavy sort of morning sickness, early stages of pregnancy, she felt so ill. On Christmas Day, as I say, one dog had been incontinent for months, really unwell.
Oh my God.
Do you know what I'm going to talk about?
I do, yeah.
The other dog got a random mad illness.
Yeah.
So they had two sausage dogs, both sort of around 10 years old. It's not old, but getting on a bit. The other one just got this random mad illness where her stomach like inflated to triple the size it should be and was clearly in so much pain that literally, whilst a Christmas dinner, which had been interrupted by arguments and fight and tensions and my mum crying about how sick the dogs were, the Christmas dinner had to be interrupted so that a vet could come round and put both dogs down on the kitchen floor. Both dogs but I can't, like, people are going to be listening to this being like, have I misheard? Both dogs died on Christmas Day with my nan, my nan's husband at the time, my sister's family, me and my pregnant girlfriend and my parents there, sobbing our eyes out. Boxing Day was spent burying the dogs.
And Luke was humping everyone's feet still.
Christmas 2020, I got COVID, very unwell.
Yeah.
Christmas 21, another COVID-y one. I had COVID again. 2 years in a row I had COVID. Christmas 22 last year, I mentioned it on the last episode. Me and the missus burnt out to exhaustion. My missus hospitalised on Boxing Day. That was at her family's home in Ireland, and we nearly broke up because the relationship was in a bad place. So we're staying here this year. We're staying here.
It does put the fluffiness of the roast potatoes in context, really, doesn't it? It puts it in perspective.
It's only now that I'm saying all this, I'm like, I didn't prepare all this.
This is a good one. This is the big one.
This year's going to be So basically, I think me and my missus have decided we're not fucking going anywhere anymore. We tried going back to Ireland. We end up fucking. She's in hospital because she's so tired. We're on the verge of a breakup. We tried doing it at my parents' house. Fucking animals keep dying everywhere.
I am absolutely fascinated to see what's going to go wrong. What could go wrong here? This is going to be mad.
This year we've got our best friends coming around with their children. We've got another mate. We've got Alana's mum is flying over from Ireland because otherwise she'd be spending it on her own. And we're going to have a proper old time with it, mate. My rundown of Christmas Day, up in the morning, everyone in the bed.
Okay.
So for me, that would mean my missus and my two kids. We're gonna have my pal Luke, the foot humper.
He's actually going to be here.
He's coming. He's staying around Christmas Eve.
Oh,
and I tell you what,
that's the thing that's going to go wrong, everyone.
There
we go.
Well, I tell you, it only gets worse. We've also got the mother-in-law.
Oh, here we go.
So
that's like an episode of fucking One Foot in the Grave. That is.
I'm gonna insist.
You're waking up the next morning. Luke's humping the mother-in-law's feet. I don't believe it.
I'm going to insist that they both get in the bed, in the big bed with me, Lana, and my kids. We all have stockings, and what I insist upon is you all take it in turns to open a present from the stocking.
Love that.
Now, for me, stockings are for tat. I'm talking nail clippers, I'm talking lip balm, I'm talking
Lynx Africa,
a bit of Lynx, and a little mini bottle of port. Bosh. That's what I like drinking. Downstairs, now, Irish coffees are served while we open the stockings. Downstairs, that's when the Bucks Fizz gets going.
Yeah, I love a Bucks Fizz.
Bucks Fizz, bang, that's sort of 11 o'clock. My Christmas Day brunch is scrambled eggs and smoked salmon on bagels.
Yeah.
By midday, I want to be in the pub.
Okay.
2 hours in the pub.
2 hours in the pub.
That's where
nice.
my pal and his missus and their kids join us. We start getting drunk. I head home, start cooking the dinner. I cook the dinner. No one gets involved. Ideally, I'll have an Arsenal podcast in my ears. No one's allowed to speak to me.
Okay,
for 2
so
hours.
there's 2 hours of Christmas Day where pure silence. It's like a fucking Buddhist retreat.
Here's where I think it is going to go wrong.
Okay.
Anyone who's tried to cook for that many people, especially a roast dinner, very hard. You haven't got space in the oven. I'm going to try and use my little Uni pizza oven to cook bits in the garden. Luke, the foot humper's in charge of that. I think he's going to set fire to himself. Then into the evening time.
You know, like the end of Goodfellas, where he's like fucking jacked up on cocaine, and he can hear that, and he's trying to cook, I think, Thanksgiving dinner, and like there's like police helicopters flying. That's what it's going to be like. Luke's like coming in with his pubes on fire.
It's on fire. Put the cauliflower cheese in the pizza oven. Eat dinner around 4 o'clock for me. That's sort of dinner time Christmas Day.
Yeah, that's
as
right,
it's starting to get dark,
and
then fucking just hammer Baileys, cheese boards, leftover sandwiches, wine, fucking port.
Bit of row. Will you have a row in there? Not unintentionally, of course, but
I think I might do. No rows.
There's a lot of candidates, isn't there?
Oh, mate, yeah. Listen, my best mate is my business partner. I might have it out with him about the fucking dividends. I might have it out with Luke about the foot shagging. I might have it out with the missus about something. Kids are going to get on my wick.
Someone's going to get it.
Someone's fucking getting it.
I'll be getting it on the Instagram
James
message.
A. Castro, I still want you, you con.
Well, we hope you have a lovely Christmas. I would love the idea of someone cooking their Christmas roast with this on in the background.
Yeah. Or do you know what? And I tell you what, there's a boxing podcast I used to listen to which would always say this. This is if you have time, do it Christmas Day. Get out Boxing Day morning. For fuck's sake, get out. That's the thing you have to do. If you've got a dog, walk the dog. If you've got a kid who won't speak to you, take the kid. Get out, get this in your ears and just go for a fucking walk. Boxing Day morning, you're hungover, you're farting all over the shop. Get that Yuletide log. Children. Get that Yuletide log down the U-bend of your toilet. Get it out of you and go for a walk with this in your ears. This week, who are we talking about?
We're talking about one of the most beloved men in British entertainment. One of the most electrifying men on the internet. We're talking about the Bootlegger.
The Bootlegger!
Oi, get on this.
Get on it.
I think that the Bootlegger is the spiritual king of Christmas.
Yes! Do you know what? I was keen to hear what you were going to say, because I thought you might say about him being like the kind of the quintessential British man, but we kind of said that with Big John, didn't we?
Yeah.
Who's also very Christmassy.
Very Christmassy, very family orientated, very is a big host. He would love to host, right? But no, the Bootlegger. And it's funny because I went back and got the clips for this episode, and there's one of them that's just a generic one. He's got so many clips around Christmas.
Yeah.
I went back and I was like, I wonder if he's got like one video where he's doing cooking and drinking on Christmas. He's got about 40. Yeah. He's got loads.
So I think, why is that? Why is he so heavily... Look, let's talk about who the Bootlegger is. For anyone out there who doesn't know, who's the Bootlegger?
The Bootlegger is this bloke from Wrexham. I think his name's Carl. And I think he got... I don't even really know. I don't really want to know. He got kind of famous doing these videos where he'd go and watch Wrexham and he'd like video himself watching Wrexham. And he was wearing, bizarrely, like a war helmet.
It's like a pilot's helmet.
That's it, yeah.
Goggles, yeah.
And then, so he became a bit of a character. And then he started doing videos. And again, as it always comes back to, it was lockdown, I think, that really kind of jettisoned him into the stratosphere of like beloved entertainers. And he just became this internet personality on Twitter. He's always talking about drinking pills now. He loves drinking, basically.
Yeah.
And he loves being with his family and cooking. And he's got all these little catchphrases that we'll get into. But he just became this unbelievably like positive personality. Again, like the food Don John, he would recognize when things were tough. And we've got one video where he does talk about it being tough in a minute, but he's just like this incredibly kind of charismatic, interesting mentalist, but really lovely.
The thing, if you're to be like, what's the one thing? As much as he started in football, it's alcohol.
Yeah, and he's now got his own Pilsner, because he used to talk about Pilsner all the time, German Pilsner, baby, and he's got his own Pilsner called the Bootlegger Pilsner.
And that's have you tried it?
I've tried it. It's fantastic.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's really good. It's really nice.
You know what? It's funny you say that.
What?
It's Christmas.
Yeah.
I assume that's what you've got in your bag, but
what?
I've got something to...
You've got something to give me? No.
You've not...
What?
Have you not...
I didn't bring you a present.
Are you serious?
No, I didn't. I feel terrible. Did you bring me one?
Oh, have you... Sure, no, you have.
I haven't.
Well, yeah, I did. Because I know this is... You love the Bootlegger.
Oh, fucking, I feel terrible. You didn't. You're taking the piss, didn't you?
No.
What have you done? You've got me a little Christmas Santa sack.
No, I'm joking, I didn't. That's the spirit of Christmas, baby.
I fucking knew it as well. I knew it.
Oh, you didn't, he got you.
I fucking knew it. As you were doing, I was like, he's taking the piss. There's no way he would have done this. He's got 2 kids. He's not fucking wanker.
But sorry, you've had the Pilsner. You've had the Pilsner before. You've had the Pilsner.
Oh, that's really got me. I thought I was going to have a... He's got a couple of chilled Pilsners. We're gonna do the podcast having a Bootlegger Pilsner. You fucking prick. You clung on to that was really well. That was your acting training coming out then. I was like, he's gonna break.
So sorry, you love the Bootlegger. Sorry for doing that. You love the Bootlegger.
That was great.
You'll text me tonight, be like, you fucking bastard.
Fucking boss, I quit.
You love the Bootlegger, and I think it's interesting you say about the lockdown thing, because he is an alcoholic. I just say that about a man. He likes booze. He's a boozer to the point that he's created his own booze. That's his thing. But it's not like I don't think you'd ever see a boot. Maybe you would. It's not about just drinking. It's not really even about the boot. He's a communal drinker.
Loves it.
He's having a beer with your mates after work.
Yeah,
That's the thing, isn't it? That's like, if you were to put your finger on what it is, it's that. That's the vibe.
And this one here, this is lockdown, right? And I just wanted to do this one first because it perfectly encapsulates everything joyful about him. And it speaks to your point earlier about he gets in the kitchen, he gets the music on, and he gets the roast in the eye. And this is him doing that.
Can I just quickly,
go on.
before we do this, the other thing that I think where you and I really relate to is we like that. We like drinking. We like Christmas. We like being around family. He drives his wife fucking mental.
I was going to say, there's one thing we can relate to. It's having a put upon wife that is absolutely fuming with the kind of slightly strange man in their kitchen who's really lovely, but also is drinking 6 chilled pilsners while cooking a big bit of meat and doesn't want to talk to anyone. I wonder why I can relate to him. And he's sending videos to his, like, effectively Twitter is his mates. He's glued to his phone. He's glued to his phone doing these videos, these mental videos.
The internet is this man's group chat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The entire internet. But this is him in the kitchen during lockdown on a Sunday.
Well, all right, lads.
Music's blaring.
Captain in the back kitchen, baby.
There's the Pilsner. Does his little laugh.
We may be in lockdown, but Captain's got the ribeye roast ready to go in the oven with all the trimmings. For flamethrower.
That's the wife.
The
He's
flamethrower.
away grafting. He'll be home any minute.
He doesn't want her to come home.
Why do I wait here hand on foot? Because I'm a good catch, baby.
He's fucking 6 pints deep already.
Why do I wait on her hand and foot?
10 seconds of the video, just him drinking.
You all have an absolutely blinding day of rest.
Blinding day of rest.
Down in Wales, but it won't stop the back kitchen session, baby. Over and out, enjoy your lunch.
How good is that? Look at that. Just the feeling. The music in the kitchen. The Pilsners from the fridge. It's cold. Guess what? There's more in the fridge. You can
Yeah.
drink as many as you want. There's always more. There's more in Tesco
Yeah.
Direct. There's more in...
Yeah.
There's never going to run out of Pilsner.
And he's so much of what he's doing, like I think sometimes there are influencers who are all about kind of drinking and partying and stuff, and I think what kind of feels difficult to enjoy about them sometimes is that it just feels like they're just on the piss or they're just mucking about.
Yeah.
He's always got a mode of duty about him.
Yeah,
Do
he
you know what I
does.
mean? It's like I feel like I've only ever seen him either just finish work, and I think he does sort of like manual labour and
He
building,
does,
doesn't
he's a roofer, yeah.
or cooking for his family.
Yeah.
And it's sort of I think there's a part of me that finds it really sweet. There's a part of me going like, you can't tell him off. You can't tell him off. I know he's hammered, but he's cooking. And it's sort of like my thing of being like, that's why cooking is my salvation. I do most of the cooking for my family. And it's like,
You can't tell me off.
You can't get me. No, I'm just cooking. I'm just cooking. I know I'm hammered. I know I've got an Arsenal podcast playing so loud the neighbours have phoned the council. I'm just cooking.
Doing the cooking.
I'm at work. I've just finished work. I'm just hammered at work. Like, dude, this is the thing. And you can see the glee in his eyes, the kind of, I'm getting away with it, baby.
They can't get me, baby.
That's it. He's sussed it. He goes, so long as I'm performing some kind of duty for my family, whether it be earning money or whether it be cooking, you can't tell me off.
No.
I can just get hammered.
And his thing is then he'll escape down. I think he goes down a pub called the Beachcomber, and he's always like, I'm off down the Beachcomber for a couple of light tales. But it's like, but I'll be back in half an hour.
Yeah. And
She's
I've
on my
earned
case.
it, baby. I've been working hard, and I'll come back later, and you probably forget. I wish I wasn't. But yeah, this is it. He's getting away with it. It's that thing of like, it's very communal. It's very family focused. Do you know what that clip reminded me of, and what you were saying about how like about he's cooking for the family, but they're not there when he's got the music going. There's a dear friend of mine, a friend of ours, Ahis Shah. I remember he had a show a couple of years ago where almost like the sort of conclusion, it's like this hour-long stand-up show, and it was like, he'd just come out of a breakup, and he was like, what do I want to do myself? Oh, I'm sad about the breakup, but I like my... And I remember the sort of conclusion at the end of the show, he's like, I want a family, I want to know that I have a family, I want to be in a family home, drinking, but they're not there.
Yeah, that is it.
And as a father, let me tell you, that's a fucking sweet spot.
That's
He's having a minute. He's having a minute.
And is that is not, as I currently understand it, illegal in this country.
It's not a crime.
It's not a crime
phone
to
the
go
Met
into the
Police.
back kitchen. You cannot phone the Met Police on us because we are doing something for the family.
Yes.
It just so happens that thing is us being alone, drinking lots of Cruz Campo lager.
That's your thing, though. You really like
my
Cruz
God.
Campo, don't
I'm
you?
a bit worried about my Cruz Campo intake. And it's also pathetic. It's like a Heineken. It's like drinking Coca-Cola. Basically,
It's like the new Madry, really. Isn't it? It's
my
the new
God.
Madry. Let's be honest.
But
Madry became a meme of itself, and so Cruz Campo is for like fucking South London hipsters like you who don't want to be associated with
I
scum
don't
like
drink
me.
Madry. I drink Cruz Campo. It's actually from Seville. Have you heard of it? No, I'm a bit worried about my Cruz Campo intake. But Christmas Day, I'll be there fluffing those roast potatoes.
Is that going to be your Christmas bit?
Oh boy, yeah. That's going to be my fucking Tuesday morning bit, the way things are going.
Should we watch another clip?
Yeah, so I'll get into the kind of Christmas-orientated clips now. There's a few here, and we'll get into them, but these are what he does at Christmas. I think this is, if I'm thinking this one is a really perfect summation of everything we love about him.
Not a lot to do today, but go for a quick walk shortly.
Boxing
Take
Day.
Hazel and Ewan.
He's got his Christmas
Get a bit
jammies
of
on.
fresh air into them.
What are you
And
going to do
then,
after that?
We'll come back and we'll spend the day cooking, eating, drinking, smoking, and gambling.
Come
Yeah,
on!
none of it is good for your health, or a lot of it isn't, but enjoy the rest of this day. The next one will be bringing in the new year.
It does a thing that I think now. I've kind of learnt this over the last couple of months, where I've been trying to do more sort of like, you know, quote unquote content and you know to
Front-facing camera
yeah.
stuff.
And I've noticed this very much about slightly older men when they try and do it. They can't stop their face from doing something.
No.
And that's one of the funniest things about. I mean, what's funny about him is you see him in a real state sometimes. I mean, you don't,
That's coming up, by the way.
yeah. I mean, you might think he looks a bit rough there. You
Yeah, watch
fucking
the
wait,
next
man.
one.
He looks awful in some of it. But he's like, you know, hair ruffled, bags under the eyes, not looking great. But he doesn't know how to not do something with his face. It's like he has to animate somehow.
Yeah,
It's like you know, he could just end up by going, and next up it's going to be the new year. Next up it's going to be the new year.
But I think it's actually quite instructive as a performer, because I think one thing when you start, you watch people do stand-up and you think, when I started doing stand-up, you watch people and you think, oh, they're just being normal. But actually, like the volume is always turned up quite a bit when you're doing stand-up, isn't it? Otherwise you look mental. You have to be performing.
yeah, you can't just talk.
No, and like by definition, the people that are good at it kind of make it look easy and they make it look natural. But actually, they'd never obviously behave like that off stage. You know what I mean?
Have you just observed that the bootlegger's an effortless performer?
I think he is. That's what I mean. It's like the catchphrase is the performance. Like, I'm trying to learn from the bootlegger. I might get booked with bootlegger to do a stand-up workshop. Imagine that. I just came back. All of my stand-up is me just going, it's time to get the flamethrower going, baby.
All right, lads. Yeah, but he really does perform, and he like his eyes do something for every clip. But like there, it's again that thing. I mean, his little list of the things to do on Boxing Day. We're gonna cook again. He's got his duty in there.
Yeah.
It's different. It's different.
First.
If it was
If
just
he
I'm going
starts
to drink
with-
and smoke and gamble, which there are some where he says that. But no, I'm going to cook. I'm going to cook.
I'm
You
gonna
can't
cook.
fucking
You
get
can't
me.
get me.
I've done my job.
Yeah.
I'm going to cook. I'm going to drink. I'm
And
going to
then
eat. I'm going to smoke. I love smoke. Because there might be people which just go, "Did you talk about smoking weed?" No.
No.
He just loves cigarettes.
Fags
so
or
much.
vaping, yeah.
Yeah. He's going to smoke and he's going to gamble.
I can associate with that, actually. One thing I often think is if and when Emma does divorce me, at least I'll be able to smoke fags guilt-free again. The magic stuff.
Yeah, I love. It's almost kind of like the modern men behaving badly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it's also like I don't think a feminist could ever look at him and say you're a shit husband.
No.
Not quite. He's
Not
towing the line
Yeah.
so carefully.
And it's funny the way he uses like phrases and language about escape and like getting away with it and like and so it's like he's constantly living his life like he's a kind of criminal on the run. And
Yeah,
like,
that's it, that's
just
the
got to
vibe.
evade the flamethrower.
That's
Just got to
the vibe.
stay out of her way.
Yeah. It's almost like in a video game where you're just constantly one step ahead of the monster that's coming.
Yeah.
That's kind of his vibe. It's like the bailiffs are at the door, baby, but we're not letting them in today.
It's like Metal Gear Solid. Like he's hiding out of the torchlight from the guards that are patrolling. He's just got to get down the beachcomber. He can just make it to the beachcomber for one pale ale. But
Last chopper out of Saigon, baby.
But is that not what your life is like?
Yeah. This is the thing. As much as I'm like, oh god, he does look a bit of a mess. I'm like, every line that's etched into his face, every bag under his eye, I feel them.
Yeah.
And I feel like I live them every day. He's very much the kind of the working father. You know, that's the kind of, this is where you empathise. And it's like, again, it's sort of what we spoke about with Don the Food John. It's like accepting the ills of life with a smile on your face.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
it's
sure.
because he's drunk. That you can't get
It's very easy to accept the ills of life with a smile on your face when you're 7 pilsners deep.
You can't get too philosophical because he is just hammered all the time.
Yeah.
But that I don't know. There is a positivity to it all, and I think especially at
100%.
Christmas, it's quite
And
a
like,
nice thing.
I heard a phrase someone said this recently. I can't remember if they said it to me or I heard it somewhere. It's like, if you can't enjoy a coffee in the morning, you wouldn't enjoy owning your own yacht. And there's something about him where it's like, he likes a steak, he likes a glass of red wine or a Pilsner, and he likes the telly on. And like, it's the simple pleasures in life. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't want a steel grey house with matching jammies and like he just wants to have a bit of chicken in the air fryer. That's it. That's all he needs.
Yeah, it's simple pleasures is exactly what it is, man. It's that, and it's appreciating the little things. I mean, that's kind of, as you say, you know, a lot of this is kind of lockdown stuff, where I think it was people going like, fuck, I thought I wanted a silver tinsel tree and a $4,000 DFS
Just want to be able to
sofa.
see my mates.
Yeah, I just want to have a cigarette with my mate and to lose a bet.
I mean, that being said, he's this wholesome family character. There are a number of videos where it looks like he's on quite a lot of Chang.
I was going to get onto that.
And people in his Twitter mentions, they do let him know that.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, I think what I love about a bootlegger, it's not just the bootlegger, it's the community around the bootlegger.
Yeah.
And that's I sort of said this earlier, but I think it bears repeating that, like, you really feel like you're in a group chat with him.
Yeah.
And the comment section of his videos and his Twitter and also the way everyone talks about him, it feels like you're in a group chat. They all call him the captain.
Yes.
I assume that's something to do with the RAF goggles.
I think so.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Maybe it's just that kind of thing, you know, when people go like, hello, Squire. Or I don't know. Is it
Yeah,
kind of along
but
those
he's
lines?
the captain, and he calls himself the captain. But
And
yeah,
other people the captain as well. Everyone's the captain. But he's the number one captain. He's the proper captain.
Yeah. Do you know what's the next one?
So, yeah, the next one, I can't quite remember what the next one is, but I think the next two are like him at Christmas. I think this one is him after a Christmas party. Yeah, it is. He's come home from a Christmas party.
Lads, we're gonna keep it short and
He's fucking hammered.
I'm watching a little bit of Frank Sinatra.
He's got Frank Sinatra on the telly. He's filming the TV.
You might not be able to see him, but I can, baby. The grits. Bellowing out. The grits, baby. Life doesn't get any better. Whatever you do to this evening, lads, do it with a smile on your face. And be proud of O the Duck. You are, baby. Forward and out.
Be proud of the duck you are, baby.
Who the duck you are, as he's watching Frank Sinatra live in the background behind him.
Can I just ask you what would happen if your wife came downstairs after you'd been to a Christmas party, found you sat on the floor in front of the television, your head resting against the TV whilst Frank Sinatra plays in the background?
Shut up, I'm videoing. Shut up.
Filming yourself holding a cushion.
All right, Jacob. He goes, this is a bit I love, he goes, the greats, bellowing out the greats. Also, the caption to that video, which he's clearly written like in the moment, absolutely fucked, is like, the greats, full stop, singing some things, full stop.
I think what's really beautiful about him as well, what's almost poetic about him, is you feel like he's constantly reaching for the profound.
Yeah. Yeah.
You feel
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
You feel like the reason he's filming himself in that moment, because anyone else, if they found themselves sat on the floor with their head resting against the TV with Frank Sinatra, no one else would think people need to see this
People
about
need to
me
see immediately.
He there are so many moments in his life where he's like, this is it.
Yeah.
You know, I have that sometimes, and it will be like really small, sort of insignificant things. Like, the other day I had it where I saw my parents came down to see me, and I saw my parents walking down the road holding my daughter's hand, and I had that kind of thing of like, this is it. This is all. The hard work was worth it.
Yeah.
You know, life's fucking tough sometimes, but that's a very nice image. He seems to think that about things that other people would think were worthy of calling a therapist. You know what I mean? There are other people who'd be like, I found myself last night sat leaning against the television, Frank Sinatra playing a song that I didn't
bellowing
know.
out the crates.
Making no sense at all. I need help. He sees
Come
that
with
as,
us. We're going to take you to the Priory. Come on.
He sees that as like, I need to show people this.
Yeah.
This is the fucking. This
Be
is
proud
the
of who you
pinnacle.
are.
This is the pinnacle of the Christmas
But
times.
again,
baby.
this comes back to this, like these two episodes last week about John the Food Don, and this one about like how you frame things is part of it. Because, like you say, he's constantly reaching for this profound thing. Enjoy the moment. Be proud of who you are. He's reaching for these big themes. It just so happens that like every time he has 3 or 4 beers, which by the way is every day, he gets onto these kind of like, at least that's better than being a depressive drunk, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
If that's all, I wish that was all it took for me to be like, I'm here, I'm enjoying the moment, I'm proud of who I am.
Yeah. This is the thing. I mean, you know, talking about him, what kind of drunk he is. A, I can't ever imagine him having a fight.
No, never.
B, I can't ever imagine him. You know, some people like get really emotional and cry.
Yeah.
Really imagine him doing that.
No, he's positive, but he's not like, I fucking love you, lads. He's not quite that bad, is he?
It's a tough thing because I think sometimes, like, and you know, I should say, I keep calling him an alcoholic. Like, no, he's never said he has a problem.
No.
He's all right.
He just likes a beer.
He likes beer.
Just like me.
Every day.
Just likes to be on my own.
He also had quite a strange sort of glistening bit of light under his nostril there.
Yeah, let's not investigate that
Let's not think
too.
about that too much.
Yeah.
But there are some times where people do have a drinking problem, and the hardest thing is when you're like, oh, but you're a bit of a laugh. Do you know what I mean? There are certain people who are like, I've had to quit drinking, guys. It's not good for me.
And you're like, thank fuck
you're
for
like,
that.
yeah, it's not fucking good for me either. I can't
Rubbish.
stand it, mate. It's driving me mad.
Yeah.
I've had years of it. There are some people who are like, boys, I think we're going to pack it in. You're like, oh, really? They're like, yeah, it's destroying my life. And you're like,
Oh, not even a couple of the weekend.
I know it was destroying your Mondays and Tuesdays, but it really used to make my Saturday when you'd take your trousers down and run around the pub. It was really fun.
When you hump those feet, that was the best thing I've ever seen.
That has happened with Luke a few times. Look, there's my mate Luke a few times has been like, I need to pack it in and get some help. And we're like, no, no, you do not.
No. Here, have this Cruzcampo.
You're allowed next weekend off, Luke, but the one after that, I've got my mother-in-law around. I need some fucking cheering up.
Need some content.
Yeah, this is the thing. I think it's like there's so much joy in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the beauty of like Bootlegger, especially at Christmas. Is like there's just so much joy.
And the next one, which we'll finish on, is so we've seen him Boxing Day talking about drinking, smoking, and gambling. We've seen him after the Christmas party. Fucking out of his nut talking about Frank Sinatra bellowing out the greats. This is him day of, right? And there's a lot to unpack here, but he's got a new present.
Well, I like lads, short but sweet, baby.
Pilsner on the go, obviously. What's that in the background you can hear? This is new keyboard.
Oh my god, he's got a keyboard.
Listen to his playing.
Can we just...
I'll put that image of him up at the end.
Yeah, the smile at the end. Oh my god,
so good.
If my 3-year-old daughter were to get a keyboard this Christmas,
man.
she wouldn't look as happy as herself as
good.
he does at the end of
Plays
that.
the first 4 notes of Silent Night out of time and out of tune. And do you know what?
He's also got the little drum beat.
So good. Also, I think I've been able to like locate that in time. So I'm pretty sure, I don't know this is sure, I think that's the moment between presents in the morning. He's had to go in the shower first because he takes less time in the shower than his missus.
Yep.
He's now downstairs on his own in the kitchen. It's like 45 minutes until the in-laws arrive or whatever, or your auntie and uncle or whatever. And he's having a go on his keyboard doing his little videos to film with his friends.
So
He's dressed up. He's got a nice polo shirt on. It just makes me feel $1 million watching that video. It's incredible.
There's also something like that's something that makes me almost feel a little bit melancholic around Christmas a lot of the time, is that like knowing that you're never going to have the joy you once had at opening a present.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
As a child.
At this age, there's nothing.
No.
I mean, I kind of hate receiving gifts at this age because there's a few things. One, I just feel guilty asking for anything.
Yeah,
I don't. Also, two, like if I really want something, I do save. And
Unless you're getting me a holiday home in Cornwall, I'm all right.
Yeah, well, and three, there's just. I think you're so self-aware.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're so self-aware whilst opening it. You're almost self-aware whilst enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what's so beautiful about that is maybe because there is no one there, but he's genuinely so delighted. But my question, who the fuck got him a keyboard? And did he ask for it? Surely not. Surely, like, if you're his wife and someone says, I'm thinking of getting old Bootlegger a keyboard, you go, please fucking don't.
No
I'd rather
way.
give a 2-year-old a drum kit than give that man a keyboard. Surely the wife hasn't got it for him. Who the fuck got him a keyboard?
He can't fucking play
Did he
a
ask
note.
for it?
Yeah.
He almost looks too joyful to have asked for it.
This is the thing. I think he wants to learn a new skill. He's up for it. It's something to have next. He's got the ribeye in the oven. He's got the keyboard on.
Yeah.
He's got the fags going, and he's got 7 pilsners. Life doesn't get any better than that.
What have you asked for something? I assume your partner, your wife, obviously gets you presents at Christmas.
We actually don't. We go out for a meal instead.
Do you? So you
Yeah.
don't do any presents?
No, partly to save a bit of money, and partly because, like you say, there's not really too many things that we actually want that we don't already buy ourselves. So we always think it's nice to spend the time together and go and buy a meal.
Your parents, will they get you something?
We do Secret Santa in my family now. So you buy for one person.
Oh, fucking hell! All right, well, we're trash compared to you. We're really wasteful. My parents still insist birthdays and Christmas on getting me gifts, and it's like I think the kind of psychology behind it is they kind of my mum especially really misses me being a kid, and I think she really wishes I think without sort of subconsciously she really wants to still be the mum that she was when I was 10 and still get me like a big present.
So she buys you a remote control car every
honestly, she would if I asked it. Like, and it should always the same thing every fucking year. She's like, I sound so ungrateful, but every time I talk about something like this, I feel like Jeremy from Peep Show, like a spoiled fucking man child. But my mum will always be like, she'll say to my girlfriend, can you get a Christmas and birthday list from him? Because my birthday's in December. And so I have to like draw up this list of like, and it's such pathetic like 30-year-old man. So it's like, oh, a pair of trainers.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I'm like fucking hell. And then I have to have this thing of like opening something that I knew I was going to get on Christmas.
Oh,
and
mummy, thank you so much.
I know, I am genuinely so great, and it's really not. And you know, I have found at this age that I'm like, I don't really buy myself clothes anymore. I just get a new wardrobe every Christmas.
Yeah.
And then you know, there's that real like thing people talk about at Christmas of like dads wearing all the clothes
Yeah.
on Christmas Day. I remember my dad having to do that. When I was like a teenager, I would get my dad like a pair of like Nike trainers, which he'd never wear. My sister would get him like an England shirt, and my mum would get him some jeans that don't fit. And he'd walk downstairs. You know those books you get as a kid where like you can kind of like move someone, you can like pick like a top, a bottom, and some shit. That's what you look like on Christmas Day. But I mean, this year, me and my missus will do presents. I mean, I'm going to get her something really nice, I think. But then you'll never have that joy as a kid of opening something. And it's something like with my kids, I'm like, I'm going to spend a bit and spoil them a bit. But you go, well, yeah, you want it. And it's just so sweet that this kind of like 40-something man has
Finding that joy.
He's been spoiled.
He's been spoiled rotten. And it's his Super Bowl. It's a day where you have to stand around watching meat in the oven whilst drinking Pilsners. It's the role he was born to play. And I hope you all take inspiration from that this Christmas.
Yeah, enjoy your Christmases, right?
Enjoy your Christmas.
Have a good one. Look after yourself.
Remember, it's the moment that counts. Avoid the flamethrower if you can. Get down the pub for a couple of guineas if you can. They can't do anything to you.
Drink enough, love enough, smoke enough.
Merry Christmas.
We'll see you in the new year.